What's up? What's up?
Hey, how are you?
What's up, cutie pie?
Hi, you guys.
Yes, man.
Yes, 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 yes. Hey, we
So
have to meet this way,
I
man. I haven't
know.
seen you guys since COVID.
Special edition, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So we got some interesting stuff going on, man. It's
Let,
we got a
let's
lot
get
to talk about, man.
let's get to it. We got so much to catch up about. I mean, the Heart of RNB, we started in the basement. For those who are just knowing, me and Steve, we really do this.
Right.
Yeah, now we dash X, but of course now we're like the Heart of R&B on your IG.
Today, yeah.
Today, yeah. So, wow. You
George
know,
Floyd, man. George Floyd. The
listen,
list, you know, the
your intro was just everything. It just reminded me, but to keep seeing him die over and over again,
tough.
it's hard. It is hard. But then
Yeah.
at first I said I didn't want to keep seeing it, and then I
Yeah.
thought, why shouldn't I want to keep seeing it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That reminder. I don't need
Yeah.
that to go away today.
You don't need it to go away. It
Not
doesn't need to
today.
be
Not
something. That's exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. Uh, it shouldn't go away. It's something. We're living. We're living. I thought they only did street executions like that in Saudi Arabia.
listen.
You know what I mean?
I
This.
I thought
This.
we was done. I thought we were done when back when my grandmother was alive and they were lynching and hanging us. You know what? We went from still to video to
Yeah.
right now. They can't even say it's undeniable because we digital and you can
Yeah.
actually see it. Now you
You can
can't
see
deny
it.
what
You
you
can't
saw.
deny it. You
You
can't
can.
have some witness say, "Oh no, he was combative." You can't do that now because you got several videos. Thank God for the cameras. Like people recording the police vandalizing shit, loading bricks out so that people can throw bricks. The police is doing all this, man. Black people are in an impossible situation. We're in an almost impossible situation, depending on how we uh, gather ourselves and move forward from here.
Well,
You know.
I mean, but we don't. I think at one point in which we've learned from this experience here, that is a huge one for all of us, is that we didn't even know how many prejudices that there were against us, or we didn't even know what racism. We thought racism was this one thing over here, and come to find out, the person who called on this incident wasn't even a white person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
We,
know,
we got we got racism on every end. The black man is hated amongst all races, and
is that
he's the only one without a community. He's the only one without a God in his image. He's the only one without his own. Um, I don't know, man. The American black man is in a serious state of affairs. It's obvious that we're lost. Um, it just makes me, I'm not religious, but I'm a spiritual person, and I know about things, and I grew up religious, and there's several places in the scriptures where God tells a certain people that He's going to turn His face away from them, and let their enemies rule over them. He's very clear. I'm gonna turn my face from you, and your enemy, the people who hate you, you will be slaughtered and slain in front of your enemy. Your enemy will rule over you. And my biggest question in that is, how do we get in a relationship enough with this God to change that? You get what I'm saying? Like, if it's not changeable, then it's time to seek for some other spiritual help. If this certain God has turned his back and allowed the enemy to do these things to us, we still got more work to do. We still got other spiritual work to do outside of that, because we're here. You know what I mean? And it's obvious we're the people that are in the state of being lost. And this Godhead, whoever it is, has turned their head and turned their face against us. Our enemy is ruling over us. I got it on video over and over again. I can start at Emmett Till, let alone Rodney King that we saw firsthand. We was a part of all that. It was our enemy is ruling over us and treating us like dogs. Certain white people have a new challenge out called the George Floyd challenge. Just it's finally time for us to realize that there's different species of humans that exist on this planet, and we've been unfortunate enough to be influenced by some of the worst kinds on the planet, and it's just time for us to call it what it is. You ever been on an elevator smiling and happy, energy good, and a white couple walk on and turn red and get scared like they've seen God? Yeah. It's time for us to be that God. It's time for us to stick our chests out even further. Let them turn all the way red. Let them turn into a fucking apple. Let them turn as red as they got to turn. But as far as blacks dimming their shine, no more of that. We're not dimming our shine no more. We're not trying to make nobody comfortable. We're not trying to appease anybody but ourselves from this point. And that's just how it is.
Well, even so, with our own division that we've been living with since I've been on this planet, I've never witnessed anything other than. And I've been here a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've experienced a cycle of the same thing. So for me, I haven't seen change. I've seen a little bit of growth, but that's only on our part. That's only in my culture. I'm sorry to say that. And I'm not saying that all people are prejudiced, by no means. I mean, we are not. It's obvious that we still, all that has happened to us, we are still not killers.
Right.
Hatred is still not amongst us to still think that murder is the first and the only way to dissolve something. Still, after all we've been through,
unless it's black on black.
You know what?
I'll come kill your black ass.
But even in that, though, that comes from what they instill from us, from dividing us into not being whole.
No question. We were taught by the best.
That is a whole, and to me, that's another animal. That's a whole other discussion.
Yeah.
Of being racist within our races, within ourselves.
Yeah.
That's something totally different.
Yeah.
Okay, because that stems from jealousy that they taught us to do. That's a division. That's something else.
Yeah, that started a long time ago too.
That started with them a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think at this point, with what we're seeing now, is what we're about to see is now a division within themselves as well. Because now they're not going to trust who loves us now and who doesn't amongst themselves. They're about to go through it in their culture.
Well, you got to realize, people live amongst each other. White people live amongst each other. All white people don't have the same views and the same hate. Every human, there's black devils and white devils and brown devils and orange devils. We saw all the devils gathered together when they were slaughtering this guy, George Floyd, so we know that. So, people know who they're around. You know that your Uncle Jake is a racist. You know your granddad hates black people. You know your great-granddad had slaves. You know these things. So for me, it's just about people becoming human or not. If you're going to remain silent about it and you're white, you're devil the same as they are. You're in the car. Your brother's in the car robbing the place, and you're outside in the car. You're just as guilty.
Oh, well, that's always been for us. That's always been for black people.
It's the only way we can look at it.
If we was there, we was gone. Okay? Yeah. There's no way you could tell them that you didn't know about it. Okay? You was gone. That's a fact. That's what I've been there already. I already know what affiliation means. I've already dealt with the three-letter boys. I already
guilty
know.
By association.
They told me I was guilty by association. I said, oh my God. I was at home. Okay? I was at home. But nevertheless, I'm not saying that all people are racist. And I'm not saying that all of us are not. How about that?
Right.
Okay? So let's be fair and let's still be clear. Do I think racism is going to go away overnight? Do I think that they're going to think? I don't. I do not.
That's like saying a bear is not going to have the ability to rip your head off at any time.
Oh.
You get what I'm saying? If you follow the best thing that I've learned and all of my years of studying outside of religion and just watching society and watching the people so that I can gain information from what I'm experienced to. This enemy that we have is consistent in his behavior. This enemy that we want so much to love us and to accept us as equals has a God-given hate for us. You can't even help it, uh, uh, and it's deeper than the skin. It's more inside than it seems. And for Black people coming from being slaves, we are such good, gracious, loving people. If there's a God that wants to honor somebody, and this is where I think there's a misunderstanding. I think the way that we were taught the scriptures is to be humble, kiss our enemies' ass if we have to, just be godly and loving, not realizing that love is not all based around hugs and kisses and your back bent. Sometimes you got to kick some ass in love.
Listen, and it's not always associated with being happy.
No,
I'm so tired of everybody saying, if you gotta be in love to be happy.
Shit.
And I mean,
in love with yourself.
Listen, and they keep throwing that away and throwing that at me. I'm like, no, I'm trying to figure it out here. And now neither of the two even go together. I'm gonna be honest. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, because there are days when I wake up and I'm mad happy. And there's some days I wake up and I'm mad love.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're never the same. It ain't never seem to be the same thing.
As long as you're dealing with ego, it's going to always be like that because, of course, the ego is trying to find anything to bring you down. That's why it's so important for people with a forum like this to remind everybody, regardless to what we're witnessing, we all are here. So it's obvious we agreed to be here at this time to help the energetic change that is going to take place. So we can't forget that and get lost in the anger. Like, I'm angry and mad as hell, but I'm not lost in it. You get what I'm saying? It just makes me more aware and more sure of what I've seen and I've grown up with, and what the Christian Black ex-slave in me has always wanted to hope away. We are in an impossible situation with some impossible people. And we're going to have to figure out as Black people how to become a community once and for all and protect that community against the thugs that come to destroy it, because they're going to come. When Black people decide to stop spending our money with them and we decide to keep our money, them white boys is coming. That devil is coming, and he's coming with a vengeance. He's going to come and infiltrate. He's going to try to find him a Black person that he can infiltrate in. He's going to try to, them white boys is going to be across the tracks, believe me. And they're going to infiltrate, and they're going to try to destroy it. The Black Panther Party was feeding and providing health care for their own community, and they came in killing people, shooting people. This is a harsh taskmaster that we've been left to deal with on our own. And the fact that we don't have killing in us outside of our own is one of our worst attributes.
Yeah, we don't have it. It's not in us.
The fact that there's no guns popping, and I'm not suggesting anything, but I watched, and I got people that live in Chicago, Detroit. I got friends everywhere. And I know that the guns is popping in the hood on a regular basis. And right now, the guns is not popping. The guns are silent. And that bothers me.
Well, I mean, but look, we already know all too well the repercussions. So
what repercussions is?
Oh, when we do use
there's
them.
People in jail.
People
go to jail every day.
Listen, when we do use them. I mean, come on. The fear, why they're not out? Because we are reprimanded 10 times more than any other culture. And we ain't even at war every day with them. We more at war with ourselves every day than we are with them. When we call them to help us with our war, we end up going, and then they taking 2 more of us that have nothing to do with what we called you for to get the release to release. I think that loop was a
tearing
good way
up
to,
some shit.
right? I do. I feel like they said, you know what? Y'all ain't gonna catch all of us. So you know what? Let me. I mean, it was just a way to release and feel bad. I don't know how to say it. Like to have a good.
It's like a
feeling.
release. It's like some type of retribution.
Yeah.
But what I'm seeing right now as an adult watching this with my own eyes, what I'm seeing is that Black people don't even have the liberty to protest and voice themselves for the right reason without the impossible people being on this side too. Now you got the impossible person and persons who started this, right?
Right.
Then you got the impossible people who gonna come and jump on our side and cover their faces and destroy and tear up shit.
Absolutely.
And then you got impossible people in front of us making the barricade finna shoot us with bullets and tear gas. We're in a matrix. We're in a white man's evil devil's play matrix.
Right. And they're blaming who? Us. Our people. And they're trying to make us believe that it's us. Which makes us, which mentally, if you
well, they want the world to think it's us.
Of course. And then you know what? And some of us who aren't there yet, who aren't woke, do believe that it is us.
Wow.
So, and that's even crazier. It's almost like COVID. I have been walking around with a mask and gloves and sanitary. Not that I wasn't sanitizing things prior to y'all. I wasn't wearing gloves and a mask all day. But now, I went from that mental state of thinking that I'm going to die every time I walk outside or even sleep at night in my own home to watching people out in droves and thousands be to. And now, mind you, they told me 3 weeks ago that 200,000 people were going to die in 2 weeks, and only probably 20,000 died. Now, mind you, I'm waiting for next week, because if people don't start dying in droves, I'm going after COVID. Because then now, wait a minute, I understand the placebo effect, because I still see people out there who wear no masks. Some of my friends don't, and I do, and we still seem to be talking at the same time and still alive. So now, is it a placebo effect with that? And I'm not saying that people did not get sick from COVID. That is not what I'm saying. I don't know what this is that they're telling us. And you know what? And I don't even know if we're doing the right things and the precautions that we're using is the right thing to stop it. What I'm saying is somebody knows something. And I don't think we're getting the truth about that either. Was that another scare tactic?
I'll tell you, you know, I've grew up around animals, you know, and I figure we're an animal. We have animal instincts. We do animalistic shit. You know, and whenever a dog is sick or whenever the birds are sick, you know it. There's no question. There's no, is it? What is it? There is no question that there is something very serious going on in your yard, right? Since this whole pandemic started, all I've done was kept my eyes open and just watched. I'm waiting for them, you know, I'm waiting to see with my eyes a pandemic. You know, everybody that gets up and go to the store, everybody's not going to be healthy and fine. Somebody's going to have COVID and fall out where we can see it. Somebody's going to be in line thinking today is a good day and fall out of this virus that's killing all these people. I have eyes just like everybody else. Why can't I see it? I'm around thousands of people. I've seen thousands of people in the stores. I mean, look at the marches. Nobody's fall out of COVID-19 in Paris. There's thousands of people gathered together in Paris right now. There's thousands of people in the streets right now. Who's falling out dying of COVID? Who cares about COVID? COVID couldn't get the tanks in. The riots did. You get it?
So you just think that they just changed tactics?
Are you kidding me?
Well, no, I'm asking. I mean, that's what we're doing here.
They changed tactics. The virus, once white people stop buying the shit, they start going up to the Capitol buildings with their guns and screaming and yelling like, of course, they're allowed to do. Once they start doing it, and they saw that it was some bullshit going on, it was going to change anyway. These riots, the death of George Floyd was right on time for the agenda of the Stafford Act and changing, taking our civil liberties away, moving forward to a one world government, a one world religion. That's on the agenda. They've been doing that. That's been on the agenda since they created the $1 bill. That's not going to stop.
Okay, well here we got King Ron, and I don't know if it's a woman or a man. I guess King would significantly say that you're a man. It says almost 7 million infected worldwide and 387,000 dead. That's worldwide.
Sounds good. Sounds amazing. Sounds like an amazing virus.
But the numbers are still not adding up to what we were told, and the mental, what I've been going through in my mind, that's still nowhere near the numbers where they told me back in February that is supposed to be where it is. Now, I'm not saying that people are not dying. I just would like to know, what are they dying of? Why do you keep telling me every day to panic with the pandemic?
And why is every death, no matter what it is, considered a COVID death at this time?
And why are we not knowing why is it the statistics aren't telling us what is the difference between when you go to the hospital with this over here and that over there?
Yeah, we're in an impossible situation. You know, if you do your research, you're going to find out 9/11, Pearl Harbor, all of these big wars that's in our history. You know, our history is their history. That's the history we get the liberty of learning. So you'll find out that all of these big events were agitated by this same impossible people. They go and agitate to create the wars. It's the most amazing thing to see and to realize as a human in flesh what we're actually up against, dealing with this enemy, this person who hates us this much. These are some really incredible, impossible individuals with agendas. I mean, from the elite in Hollywood gathering together to torture kids, and because, you know, when you scare the kids to a certain amount of terror, the blood creates an enzyme, and this blood, you drink the blood and it makes you high, it makes you youthful. You know, all of this witchcraft that is practiced behind the scenes, while all of us, we're just looking and admiring. You know, we want to be like Stephanie Mills, Michael Jackson. We're just admiring this life and chasing these dreams and these fantasies that were created, not knowing what's behind this shit. You know, and the people that we're not following to a heavenly place. We're not following this white man to heaven. This white man that we believe in and we trust what he gives us. We trust what he teaches us. We take his job. We work 6 days for free, and we trust that he's going to pay us on the 7th. You know, we got a lot of love for this man.
Because we have to have blind faith, Stephen. What else? Like you just said, you're not a religious man. You have to believe in something. Hey, DJ Severe just came in. Yo, he said yo to us. Hey, DJ Severe, we miss you. I do.
Oh, what's up, Severe?
I know see you, but we up here arguing about the same thing. But I mean, come on, you have to have blind faith, because then if you didn't have that, what should we have? Who should we be praying to right now, Steve? I mean, come on.
Our ancestors. We have a better chance. Let me tell you something, since you asked that, and this is just me. We have a better chance of praying to those who have passed that we know existed than praying to this invisible God hoping to get an answer. We might as well pray to grandmama, mama, Uncle Junior. We need to pray to those that we know loved us, who we experienced energetically while they were here. We need to turn and pour out water, and we need to pray to them. We need to pray to our own ancestors and ask them to gather the angels of light around us and put a hedge and be our army for us.
Yeah,
that's what we need to do.
STW, I don't really know if I'm saying it right. They agree. They said you're right. We should be praying to the dead. We should be
praying to our ancestors. They're still there. Why do you think the enemy?
Are all the answers there? So am I just praying? Tell me this. Am I praying to the wrong being?
Let me tell you something. You want to know my honest opinion?
Yes.
The people who trained and taught us and gave us God at gunpoint, I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the day we've been worshiping the devil this whole time and not even know it. I would not be surprised. We were not taught and made by a just people. We were taught by people who came in smiling and was ready to cut your throat because they saw a piece of gold around your head. You get what I'm saying? We were trained by people who brought blankets of syphilis and did experiments, and we were trained by some of the worst, most barbaric people on this planet. So how can we follow them? Where are we following them to with this God that they gave us? I don't care who gets upset. They gave it to us. They gave it to our grandparents at gunpoint. Nigga, read this gospel or else. When you start to teach this word, this is how you pray. When somebody says this about this, this is what you say. They taught you everything to defend their spiritual protocol. And now all of these black people are caught up in the spiritual protocol, all the while inside of this book that they gave us. The God inside the book says, I'm going to let your enemy rule over you. Leviticus 26:17. He says, I'm going to turn my back on you and let you be slain in front of your enemy.
Well,
This is the book that we got from them, that we believed in.
So is this book you're calling the Bible? Because
No question.
Live to Love just said that religion is a form of control.
Listen. They're controlling us spiritually. And when you can control somebody's God, you can control them. If I can give you God and put it in my image, when you walk around Iraq and all you see is Saddam Hussein, he becomes godly. When you're driving around Hollywood and you see billboards of movies over and over and over again, that movie becomes godly. I gotta go see Avatar. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
They promote it.
I'm trying to grasp what you're saying, but here's someone other. Brother JP Fitness 7. He said, if we didn't subscribe to religion during the slavery, the whole family will die, and the ancestors had no choice.
No question. I'm not blaming the ancestors. I'm telling you. Yeah, no, I love that. But I don't want it to get misunderstood that I'm acting as if our ancestors, the ones who remained in this condition, because there was a lot of gangster niggas that didn't make it into slavery.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of tough niggas that said, I would rather die than to live up under this white blue-eyed devil.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? So the ones after that, you got to remember, most black people are from those slaves who decided to bend over and bow. You get it? Yeah. We come from that. I raise pigeons. Whatever the mama and daddy got in them, the baby's going to have in them. We come from slaves that were the ones who said, okay, we're going to adjust to this system, and we're going to hope and pray that this God that they gave us is going to help us out of this.
So then how far with this mentality that you have, we are still generations away from...
Oh, no question.
Listen,
we can watch a black man be executed, and we can't gather amongst ourselves because there's going to be Muslims and Christians and all of these different denominations that are going to be in disagreement spiritually. You get it? They've separated us spiritually so that the black man cannot come together. We can't come together under one union. We don't have a certain God that we can rely on, that our ancestors gave us, that we can call on. We don't have that. We only have the God that they gave us, that our enemy gave us. We only have the God that they gave us, the God without a name, G-O-D. That's not God's name. Yahweh, that's not his name. That's a address this being. We don't know who this is. Go ahead.
We're back with Gangs TW. He said we protesters.
Well, I mean, that's what we do, and the situation.
Let me ask you, is that effective? I mean, I've been here. This might be my third or fourth. Then I can honestly say I'm there for. This is my fourth. Does it seem effective to you at all?
I think that George Floyd's death is effective. I think that at this point, there are white people that are looking and saying, okay, now I've been in this privileged skin all my life. I haven't had to worry about the police. I haven't had to worry about that life. This is why white people can vibrate higher than us, because they can vibrate within the skin that they're in and feel safe. So their vibrational frequency will attract more to them because they feel entitled. They don't get fucked with. They're not on the low. Nobody's treating them like trash. Nobody's kicking them in the ass. So their frequency is different. And that's why the universe, they attract so much. But with black people, our energy is low because our state is low. We don't know who we are. That's low. We don't have a spiritual connection as one. That's low. So we got so many different low energetic frequencies against us before we even get into the physical battle with this devil. Before we even get our guns, energetically, we're not one.
Is Floyd a sacrificial lamb for us to do what?
Floyd was the eye opener for the world to see that this white man is out of order. Floyd's death was the wake-up call for black men and black people around the world to see it is a time to deal with this devil in a different manner. Floyd's death was for us to wake up and see that this devil that we are dealing with is not to be changed. He's not to be reasoned with. He's not a reasonable being. They will watch you get choked on national TV and then give you an autopsy and say that the man died of other complications. We are dealing with a physical devil.
Now, okay, I can live with that. Now tell me this, because I've always read Moses as a person who had done really bad things and he made a really great man. Here, King Ron says, it took 1,500 years for the Bible to be written by 40 different writers. The first 5 books of the Bible were written by Moses.
Okay.
I mean, I'm asking him, is he anywhere? Is a ballpark anywhere?
I mean, yes, but see, when you get into who wrote what, you have to, it's just a sticky thing. And it turns into a conversation of okaying this and agreeing with this and agreeing with this and agreeing all the way down to who wrote what. And he's right about the years that it took for all of these different scribes to write different times and at different points in this book that we call the Bible. At different points of time in history, the people who were called scribes who wrote the book, these people wrote in favor of whoever was in charge. The scribes writing something as big as this certain book that we call the Bible were only going to be scribes of the hierarchy. They're only going to praise and cherish a certain people at a certain time. You get what I'm saying?
I will grasp that. Okay, here's something else that switching gears. I'm not really switching gears because all this correlates. This all makes sense. So here we have brother JP Fitness 7. Now this is interesting because I did wonder why we didn't. Okay, we didn't march or riot when George Zimmerman got off when he killed Trayvon, right? But we didn't to a degree. I think some people were a little outraged.
Yeah.
So why now it's a setup? They just launched some folks into space. So he thinks that all this is something else and it's a setup because they just went into space. So this is some type of Jedi mind trick maybe, or, the truth is, why did, and I'll tell you why. One, Zimmerman wasn't a white man. Let me say that. I think that had a lot to do with it. 2, we didn't.
He was white enough.
He wasn't white enough. And 2, we didn't get to see Trayvon die in time, in real time, which is what we did. We watched this man die.
Yeah, this is different.
We watched this man take
We watched an execution.
Yes,
everybody watched an execution.
And I think that had a lot to do with it. Just to answer that question a little bit for you, brother. I think, brother JP Fitness, I think we watched this man really take his breath. Actually, he was dead, and the man's knee still was on him. And
he wouldn't even. And I got a picture of him from the back. Both of his knees was on the man's body.
Yeah.
He was killing this guy on purpose, and to find out that he worked with him and he had to look at him from a view, this is a big old, tall, dark, handsome nigga. This is a big old intimidating nigga. So the little white boy was intimidated.
Listen.
The little bitty policeman was very intimidated by the big, tall nigga. So it was he wanted to do something to him. And I've watched the video. I got it in slow motion, different angles, and I'm watching him. There's a certain point where he's putting his pressure down on it. Not, I mean, if somebody had the guts to get a gun and shoot his brains out while he was doing that to that man, I would have been happy.
Well, is it true that the little Asian cop is his
Brother-in-law.
wife's brother?
Well, that's what was said. That was it.
Oh,
He's
okay.
a
because
piece of
I mean,
shit.
he did a great job of looking out. That's all I'm
He's a
saying.
piece of shit. Because
listen.
they've done it before. They do it before. Let me tell you something. The hierarchy of white people do not want other white people to believe that they're not the same. So they give white people certain positions over the lower class people so that they feel like they're something. You be law enforcement and you guard the niggas. You police the niggas. Now you're in charge. Now you have something. And these are bottom of the barrel people that most of them ain't even that smart. Just because you're intelligent and talk with a nice dialect doesn't mean you're smart. It doesn't mean you have character. It doesn't mean you have personality. A lot of these people are the scary ones in the bunch growing up in school. A lot of them were the never outspoken one. They never had guts even as a human being within themselves. They didn't have God in them to realize themselves. So now that they got the God badge and gun, now they're the devil.
Well,
See how
I mean,
quick that changed?
well, let's be brutally honest. I mean, when you sign up to be a police officer, you have what is called now your own gang and protection and security and the perks that come with that. Because listen, it's not for the paycheck. So let's be real. Let me say this because I am my own victim inside with my own fear. When I drive down the street and I see the cops or police, I slow down automatically.
Listen. Do you see the classical conditioning that black people have to go through? We both have white friends that have never experienced that. Ever.
Oh my God. And
they don't even understand. You have to have done something wrong for you to even feel that way.
Wait, I can hear the siren a block away and will pull to the right. I don't even have to see the car.
They got us trained and they got us whooped in fear. They got us whooped in fear.
Yeah.
They got us whooped in fear. How many times have you in your life been in a situation where somebody did a lot of woofing and talking in school and you had to fight to defend yourself and it wasn't shit to get over that hump? This is the same thing that we're dealing with. There's no revolution without bloodshed, man. These white people came in here killing, stealing, and destroying. They already know the secret to it. If we don't mind killing, if we can make "thou shalt not kill" one of your commandments, but we don't oblige by that commandment, we got rule over you because we're gonna kill. We're gonna hire somebody and send people to kill. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
These people kill for a
enough.
reason. Philip Morris, the cancer societies, they make a living off of death. They give people medicines that they know are gonna kill them. But if the bonus is high enough, you will be the patient to test out this or that. We are in a matrix and an impossible situation with these people. And it's just the way that it is. Anytime somebody can come and pillage and destroy people after people with proof behind it and then step in the elevator and grab their purse like it's somebody after they motherfucking asses, is something wrong. They got the Jedi mind trick of life going on people, and we need to stop buying that shit. We need to stop playing into that old innocent white person. Let me lock my door. No, I need to lock my door from your ass. I need to see you and run the entire other direction based on the proof of your existence and your history here on this earth. I shouldn't trust not one of you. How about that?
Wow. Okay, so where does that leave us now that we almost, because you're like, what's next? So now that we almost have because now we haven't even gone to trial. So, I mean, at this point, still, anything can happen.
I don't think that the trial, not to cut you off, I don't think that the trial and all of that stuff should be our heaven. I think we should use this as a wake-up call. Like right now, I think all of the black people need to get out of the streets, and I'm for the fight. But we're dealing with such a devil that if black people are not smart enough to retract to fight another day, we're going to lose a battle that's not ours, because it's them out there doing the vandalisms. It's the white people that's out there destroying shit. You got some silly niggas throwing and tearing up shit, but there are groups of white people out there don't give a shit about George Floyd, tearing up shit and destroying shit. Black people need to wake up, back the fuck up, and let these white people sort themselves out and wonder where the niggas at. The blacks have just disappeared. There's no blacks out here, y'all. We need to be smart. It's time for black people to change our lives economically. It's time for us to seek out and create black situations to spend our money. We're going to make sure we only get our clothes clean there. We're going to make sure that we get our car washed here. We're going to make sure that we only get our gas here. The Asians that we don't want on the corner store, we're not going to shop there. Matter of fact, we're going to have some guys out there that interrupts and makes it uncomfortable for you to go up in there. We're going to make them...
Well, I mean, I understand this, and I'm totally in agreement with it, but tell me if this is going to be a case. If we can start and have our own black-owned things, like black-owned banks, and where we shop and where we do things, and have a land that we can call home, and all these things, and we won't get to enjoy them, but at least maybe our children's children will. But what will that mean? Does that mean that now I don't shop at the white man's store anymore?
Yes, you're serious.
I don't shop at the Asian store anymore?
Listen, it feels tough, don't it? Don't it feel tough?
I mean,
but it's time to get serious about your own. When you're fed up and you're ready to make a difference for your own as a community, you're not going to spend your dollar with them once you realize that the black dollar only stays in the black community, whatever we call community, for 30 minutes. You get what I'm trying to say? We have to change that part of our thinking. But the reason why we're in such a tits when it comes to community, because black people think because we live in neighborhoods that this is our community, and it's not. We don't own anything in the community. You get what I'm trying to say? It's not our community. Everybody is feeding off of what could be the community, but you got McDonald's on this corner, Taco Bell on this corner, this on this corner, Hector Tacos on this corner. You got all of these other races of people that's in this community feeding off of taking the money away from the community. We need to have the taco truck, since we like Mexican food so much. It needs to be black taco trucks at night on the corners when you're going through Compton with niggas filling the parking lot. Ain't nothing finna happen right here. You get what I'm trying to say? We need to turn it into a community. We need to turn back into a community where the park could be filled with us. You're driving around the park just to see who out there. I'm talking about we need to come back to us. We need to give the enemy back their mindset. As long as we're in the enemy's mindset, we're outside of our mind. That means we're in a spell. As long as we think like them, worship with them, they're going to rule over us. And the Bible says so. It says that if you do not totally, utterly destroy them, they will get you to do the detestable things that they do, and get you to sin against your God the way they sin against their God. And if you do this, I will turn my face from you, and your enemy will rule over you.
That is there. That is very much, listen.
Hey, and this is from the Christian religion.
It is.
What I'm quoting is from the Christian Bible, the Bible that we all grew up in there.
The Bible that keeps changing. That Bible.
Somebody said, no, it don't. I got to pull up the scripture.
Oh, yes, it is. Very much so. It is.
I got to pull it up now.
That's King Ron said, no, it doesn't. Is that him? He said, no, it doesn't. That definitely is in there.
Okay. Let me go to
wait. A lot of us, he said, wait. Okay. Yeah, this is true. Brother JP7 of Fitness 7, he says a lot of us are still suffering from slavery. We are.
No question.
No question.
No question. I want you guys to pay attention and do this personally. I want you guys to pay attention to how many times you hear black people say, all white people ain't bad.
I just said everybody's not, all of them are not racist. Is that saying they're not all bad?
But let me explain something to you. The state that your people are in, you don't even have the liberty to give a fuck what white people think. How about that? The state of your people right now is so dire. Who gives a shit what white person ain't bad? When you just watch your own get executed and ain't who cares?
Are you telling me to throw away my white friends?
I did not say that. Do you see how the slavery sticks with us? Now it's about throwing your white friends away. Keep your white friends. I got white friends that I love dearly. I'm not going to throw them away. I don't think they're the same devil that I'm talking about. They come from them.
Okay.
That's a fact. If I'm still black, I'm from Africa. They white, they're from Europe, just like they're from what they're from. It doesn't matter. But I'm not judging those like that. I'm saying, watch how many people defend white people before they even consider the travesty and the horrific murder that we witnessed on camera. You'll still get niggas saying, well, all white people ain't like that. Who gives a shit? Who cares? We know that it's a given fact that everybody ain't one way. You don't have to protect them. What are you protecting them for? Let them show that they're not all bad. Let them prove it.
Well, isn't that what they're doing right now by kneeling? Kaepernick has been trying to tell them to do that, and now we have them doing that. Is that not something that we should be going, okay, that's a start? No?
We are easily pacified. I'll tell you
Absolutely.
that. The murder that I witnessed on TV launched me very far past any kind of being pacified in any kind of way. It's time for black people to look at black people different. It's time for black women and black men to look at each other and rise up energetically together, loving themselves. But the only way that we're going to do it is if we can get together spiritually. And as long as most of us is worshiping the enemy's God, and some of us is worshiping the enemy's God in another religion, and a lot of us is worshiping the enemy's God in another religion, black people are going to be torn. We're going to be torn.
No, and you know what? DJ Severe, he said we needed to be in the studio with this one, but listen, what can we do?
Man.
Listen, they got us spooked. We on COVID, and we protesting, and they killing people. So, listen, I'm in the house.
Let me tell you something. Black people, beware. We are in a dire, straight situation with these impossible people. They have the nerve. Now, I've never experienced this because I guess my energy is a little different. I've never walked into anywhere and somebody questioned me about what are you doing. I don't know if that's just not a part of my lane in life for a motherfucker to walk up and question me. I guess my energy is just a little different. But these impossible people, they're questioning you. You can have a delivery truck driving to do a delivery. If you're black, they're gonna question you. Like these white folks are really turning up.
Well, you know,
it's not
to cut you off, but it brings me to the Amy Cooper lady who was walking her dog in Manhattan
without a leash.
Without a leash, and all he said was, "Your dog should be on a leash." I mean, it's it's a law, right? And her reaction. I mean, I had to watch it like maybe 5 times because I just thought maybe it was something I was missing that was done prior to. And then when they showed him, I really went, oh no, he ain't even the black. I'm thinking this is some black dude that was like this.
He's out watching the birds, baby. Yeah, he's out watching the birds, daydreaming, a good, nice guy. And I'm watching on the videos how they threaten with the police, like they know these are their cousins. They know that this is a white army that they have at their devices. They know that they know that the police, that number 911 is not a black number. It's not a number for black people. It's a number for them to use, like they're calling their big brother to come and help them fight for themselves. And this is why I say, black people, we have to study the Japanese. We got to study the people that the white man really destroyed. The white man dropped atomic bombs on those people. They destroyed and wiped those people out like they were roaches, right? Look how the Japanese are with each other. Look at all of the things that they get when they come here. Look at all of the things that they do together. You know what I'm saying? Black people have to figure out how to handle some business without that devil being involved.
And once again, I don't know where this grassroots campaign, where does it start?
It starts in somebody's backyard.
Well, no, one, we have to tear down the Constitution. We have to go over it and try and pull it. We have to just get, start it. It has to be done all over again. We can't use that.
Black people, we need our own Constitution. We need our own set of rules for Black people. And once we got our own set of rules that we live and abide by, that we got God on, once we abide by our own rules, then we can inject the enemy's law and how we can manage with these impossible people. But as long as we're all over the place, it's almost like a diamond. If you had all of the diamond in one big stone, it'd be worth $1 billion, but it's crashed and splashed all over the place. So every little piece is only worth $5, $10. And that's what the Black race is like. It's time for us to be like that thing in the Terminator. You know, that's the new Terminator where one piece can magnet and find the other one and get that. That's what Black people need to be on. Black people need to be looking forward to speaking to the next Black. We need to be looking forward to changing our energy one person at a time.
Yeah, but I mean, and not just to say that, because now that I watch television and everything, now that I'm really trying to get into a totally different field of what I want to do for the next half of my life, everything is a form of deception, even when it's supposed to be good. There's a good deception that I'm learning. And it's so shocking to me because I've been trying to eat healthier, and since COVID, I've been really working out and really changed my life from the inside, not just the outside. I know I bought this hair, you guys, but I really have been trying to change it from the inside. So then I started trying to eat more plant-based, and then what I learned was I watched a lot of documentaries now that I'm in the house more. Oh my God, I found out about the Impossible Burger. Now, not to change subjects, but those of us who think that we're just eating plant-based and it has nothing to do with eating red meats, you're wrong. You may as well eat the burger, okay?
Yeah. Especially for the men, they got so much estrogen in it, it makes man's titties grow and shit. But you're dealing with the impossible people again.
That's why it's called the Impossible Burger, because it's impossible. That's why it really tries to taste like meat. I was going, oh my God.
We're in this thing is saying they're giving us 25 more minutes, but everybody please come back in. I'm gonna go back live in a second. Stay there, Michel'le. We got 19 more minutes. We're gonna come right back to finish this out. This is serious. We got some.
Oh, I don't know if she's talking to somebody else. Yeah, no, I mean, this is great. No, I will thank you. I'd love to come back on and everything. No,
everybody come back on.
Listen, let me tell you guys what's